everyone, it's Haley, aka Haley's Hobbies, and welcome back to my channel where I talk about my hobbies. Hello, hi. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about my reading journal. So a lot of y'all really liked my 2025 reading journal setup. It's actually one of the videos that I've gotten like the most views on in a long time, and I have a lot of new subscribers, so welcome if you came from that video. Thank you for deciding to subscribe to the channel. And if you're new here, welcome. Maybe consider subscribing. I do a lot of reading content, and then I also do some knitting videos in between because that's kind of like my other hobby. So Haley's Hobbies. I'd really like to get more into reading vlogs as well, so if that's something you're interested in, definitely make sure to subscribe. If I can monetize this channel, I will be getting a vlogging camera, and then I won't have to film on my phone, so subscribe if you want me to get a nice camera. Anyway, so this video is all about my reading journal. This one is actually my first ever, that's a lie. I had a reading journal for like 2022. I set it all up, never used it because I hated it. So I just decided to be like, you know what, let's just start over, you know? So I got this notebook from Amazon. In November 2022, I started my reading journal. Then I used it for 2023, and I really didn't make much progress in this journal, so I figured I would probably still be using this in 2025, but this is like how much like I used in a year and 2 months. My 2023 wasn't like a big reading year, but 2024, I filled up the rest of my notebook. I've read so much in 2024, I surpassed my reading goal by like almost 2 times. It was 35 books, I read 60, and I feel like I really found a style of journaling that really works for me. Yeah, I just really like it. So if you're interested to see how my 2024 setup turned out and all the spreads in it and everything, do keep watching. Hello everyone. Okay, so I have not been able to find a good time to film. So if you hear background noise, just ignore it. My grandma is doing the laundry and she's making herself breakfast. So there's a lot of background noise going on right now. Also, I don't know how I feel about my nails. On one hand, I really like them, but on the other hand, I just feel like a hypothermic Edward Cullen.
This is the skin of a killer, Bill.
So, yeah. Anyway, this is my book journal. I have like dust and crumbs everywhere on this desk. But anyway, so this is my reading journal that I've been using actually for like the past 2 years and 2 months. You can see like I have some tabs here where I've like marked the years. And yeah, I'll put the brand of this in the description. I just bought it off of Amazon, and it isn't really anything special. It's just whatever the cheapest notebook they had on there. I think it was like $8. And yeah, so I wrote Haley's book journal and I decorated it with some cute stickers. And then on the back I have some more cute stickers. Y'all might notice some space on here, and that's because I took a couple of the stickers to put on my reading journal for this year. So I ended up taking like the stickers that were on this notebook off, and I put a few on here. So yeah, anyway. So let's just get into it. I will say, tread with caution. If you happen to glance at any like writing that I do, there will probably be spoilers. This is where I put spoilers for books into. I try to avoid spoilers on YouTube, but I do want to show y'all this. So there are like specific spreads about like specific books, and then like in my monthly wrap, there's just spoilers everywhere. So I would avoid reading anything really like too closely. So yeah, I'm gonna skip 2023 and then like the 2 months that I did 2022 in, solely because there's like a lot to go through. So yes, but anyway, so this is my little reading setup for 2024. I just did some like really basic colors. If y'all remember from my 2025 setup, I kind of like to keep the setup pages kind of the same, like similar theme. So that's what I did here as well. So yeah, this is the 2024. So this was my reading goals page. They're basically the same reading goals as I always have, so really I don't really need like a reading goals page, but I like to have it. And then I have my daily reading challenge. I don't ever read every day. Some days I just don't feel like reading, but it is nice to like track the days that I do read. I find it a lot of fun. If you look back at 2023, you'll notice that I like dropped off at the end of the year. But this year I feel like I I mean, I read so much, like every month, so very happy about that. Then I have my oh my gosh, I can't speak. My books read page and my Goodreads goal page. So my Goodreads goal for 2024 was 35 books, and I ended up completing it in September, which was unexpected, but I started listening to audiobooks kind of over the summer, so that's kind of where I exceeded my goal. I did like this little kind of like meter that you fill up, and I also colored everything according to my ratings of the books, and this was just like full stars. I do rate things like half stars or like quarter stars. In terms of the color coding, if something's like 4.5, I'll just color it in 4 stars just to keep things like simple. And sometimes I'll like write the rating over here, but I didn't do that with every book. There's like more that have like half stars or like quarter stars, but I was lazy, I didn't do it for every book. But yeah, so these are all the books that I read. I read more, but this is what I had initially planned to read. I read like 20 books in 2022 and then like 31 books in 2023, so 35 felt like a good goal. And obviously I exceeded that. So this is the best book of 2024 spread. These aren't really very serious if I'm thinking about it. Like I could definitely switch out some of the books and stuff for other ones that I really loved, but ultimately the exceptions ended up being like my favorite book of 2024. And this was kind of a big shocker because it's like a nonfiction book, but I did still love like a bunch of other books. Like I don't really take this too seriously, but it is kind of fun to see kind of what is at the top of my mind, you know? So then I have my 5-star reads. I tend to rate things very like loosely, mainly based on my enjoyment, so I have a lot of 5-star reads. It's only when like the writing is very like, if there's any issues in the writing, when I seriously like will deduct, you know, stuff. So mainly my rating system is based on enjoyment. But anyway, I also have a DNF graveyard, and this is a lot of fun. I just put the books that I didn't like, that I read but decided not to finish, of course. And we have The Honey Witch Who Rose from the Dead at the end of December, or beginning of December. And then this is kind of like a forgotten spread. I have a couple of these throughout the notebook, which don't really bother me too much. I have like book spot, library books, and then anticipated releases. I ended up making a whole library book spread, and then I just didn't really keep up with books I bought, to be honest. Well, I mean, I kind of did. Like, I only bought a few books at the beginning of the year, and then of course I had my birthday haul, so yeah. And then I had an anticipated releases spread, but never really kept up with it either. I also have my monthly statistics spread, which I think this is just a lot of fun. I really love to see like how many books I finished, pages, my average star rating, because like some months I had really good months, some months I didn't have good months. Also books I bought, which you can see I did an okay job in terms of book buying other than October. And then library books that I read. So then I have my library. This was my library TBR where I like checked out books and I kept track of what I checked out, but then it just became like what books I read from the library, which is fine. Sometimes spreads change, so anytime I read a book, I wrote it down, and then I also put when I started it and when I finished it. Sometimes especially at the beginning, I put like when I checked out the book, so you'll might see like a couple dates started that are the same. That's not really when I started them, but you can see eventually I switched it to started, so yeah. Anyway, kind of a haphazard spread, but that was a lot of fun. And then I have my physical TBR spread. One of my goals for 2024 was to read half of my physical TBR. I didn't do that. I ended up reading like so much from the library, so really that's what I ended up focusing on, by accident actually, but I had a lot of fun with the library, so I'm not too fussed about not reading, you know, half of these. Then I have my classics book club, which is just the little book club that I do with myself. I just think it's fun to call it a little book club. And in 2024 I read 4 classics. I wanted to read one every 3 months because I kind of wanted to read big classics, but Carmilla and the Scarlet Pimpernel are very short classics, so that didn't really, you know, pan out, but that's fine. And then right here you can see I have 24 books in 2024. This is like my yearly TBR kind of spread, and I feel like I did okay. I think I read 13 books out of the 24, so not the greatest, but also not the worst. I am still very happy with this, and I got to a lot of books that I've been wanting to get to for some time. Okay, and so then now we're getting into like the actual monthly spreads. These were all kind of like set up kind of spreads. So this is typically how I like to do my monthly setup. I like to put the books that I want to read and the books that I actually read. And then sometimes if I've like bought a book, I'll write down what I bought. I also keep track of the reading challenge. You can see in January I only read one book. It wasn't a big reading month in January, but I still enjoyed Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. This is where we're getting into the writing, so I would use caution. If you haven't read a book and you know you want to read it, don't read the writing. I would prefer if y'all didn't read the writing anyway, because who knows what kind of dumb stuff I've said. But obviously I'm sharing this with y'all, so anyway. So then I have another couple spreads. I have my A to Z challenge, which I have a lot of fun with. I read quite a bit. I almost finished it. Of course, like X, Y, and Z are kind of like really hard to do. But I feel like I did a really good job actually, so I'm very, very proud of this, and I'm doing it again for 2025. I also have my book bingo spread, so just trying to get, you know, 5 in a row somewhere, or in a column, or in a diagonal. And then I will also, write the titles as well down here so I know like what book I'm referencing. And this is a lot of fun. Some of these ideas I get like from certain like blogs or whatever, but a lot of them I also put myself on here, like Read at a Cafe. Some of them I just kind of like do little like freebies that are easy to like highlight, just because I feel like that's a bit more motivating as opposed to like doing something that's a bit more difficult, like I don't know, magical realism. I just don't read magical realism. So then this is kind of my first like book spread. I don't do book spreads. I only really do spreads about a specific book if I've really loved the book, or if I just have something that I really want to say. This was the first one that I did, and it was for Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. Sometimes I printed out the book covers, but I don't really have like access to a printer, but my mom recently got a printer, so I now have access to a printer. So then I have a book rec spread, which I don't really use a whole lot, but it is nice to like write it down and like where it's from. Then again, we have a February spread. This one's very pink and I have a lot of hearts and stuff. And this is actually where I started tracking the days that I read books, which I love doing this. I think it's so fun to see like what I read on what day. And like the Count of Monte Cristo specifically, I read over the course of 7 months, but when you count out the days, it only took me about a month to read. So yeah, it took me a while to get through, but yeah, I think this is just a lot of fun. Then we have March. This is kind of like a moth kind of theme with like some mushrooms and some acorns. Again, tracking and whatnot. And then this is kind of another fail spread. I wanted to do like a TBR spread for each season, but I just never went back to it. So I might steal some of the stickers, like the frog sticker. You already see that I've stolen whatever that was. Then we have April. Very cute. And then this is my Cosmere spread. I wanted to read the Cosmere in 2024, but I just didn't get around to it. I have read Way of Kings, Words of Radiance, Oathbringer, Edge Dancer, and Dawn Shard, which are kind of like the first 3.5 books of the Stormlight Archive. So I still have like Rhythm of War and now Wind and Truth to go through, but I kind of wanted to start at Mistborn and just go through and read all the way through the Cosmere and like in order. But I'll probably skip the Stormlight Archive because I have already read these, and what I really like to do is reread a series when it's fully complete. So like as it's being written, I won't reread the books before like the next book is released, if that makes sense. So I'll just wait to reread all the books until everything is released, and so then it kind of feels like I'm reading them again for the first time. And I just really like that, and so it's gonna take a while with the Stormlight Archive because it's only halfway done and there's 5 more books and probably some novellas, but yeah, I have a lot to occupy my time with, so maybe I'll try and read the Mistborn like Era 1 trilogy this year. I think that would be great. Okay, and so then I have another anticipated releases spread. I ended up redoing this, and I don't really keep up with anticipated releases, to be honest. It's not really my thing, but I did have a few books that I wanted to keep my eye out on, even though I think I only bought like 1 of these books. I also crossed off the ones that I read, and these ones I happened to get from the library. Then I also have library books to purchase, which kind of defeats the purpose of a library. However, I love having like books and like rereading them, which I realized I could reread them from the library, but I would like to have some books for myself. Tropic of Serpents review. Spoilers, remember, don't read too closely. And then I was convinced that I was going to reread Rick Riordan and like all of his books, and I just kind of wanted to go through everything because I think he had just come out with like Percy and like Annabeth and all of them like in college or something, like a more recent book following OG kind of people, you know? I just never got around to it. I would love to read like all of these again though at some point. That'd be a lot of fun. I do love these books. They're some of my favorite. Like the Heroes of Olympus like series is like one of my favorite series of all time. It's just so nostalgic for me. Okay, so then this is where I kind of get more into like journaling, like reading journaling, where like a specific day as opposed to just doing like book journaling, which you can see here with the Lunar Chronicles. I just kind of wanted to journal more about books, like specifically about books. I have my personal journal, but I just wanted to like talk about books, and I felt like it was appropriate to do it in the book journal. So that's kind of what really helped me fill up this book a bit more, is just doing a lot more journaling, and honestly I love it. It's so fun. So then this was May. I did a little book theme, making progress on the reading goal, and then another book journaling spread, and then this I ended up drawing. I just wanted something to like draw. I just was like not in like a reading mood. I didn't want to knit, I didn't want to do anything, so I drew this little whatever this is. I am always really inspired by like Cheyenne Barton, so a lot of this is like very similar to her artwork or stuff that I've like directly copied. I'm not like selling this or anything. This was just for me to like do and like color and whatnot. Okay, so now we're on to June. I did like a sapphic like reading month because it was Pride Month, and I had a lot of fun with that one. I also did like my little sapphic readathon spread, so I picked like a book for each week of June, and that ended up being like 4 books, and I had like a TBR that I wanted to read, and yeah, I had a lot of fun. I put the title, the author, and the rating. I forgot to put the author though for Can't Spell Treason Without T, so will I go back and do it? Probably not. Okay, so this is where I really get into like doing seasonal TBR. So you can see here I did my summer TBR. There's nothing really special about this spread. I ended up doing a lot more later, like with these kind of spreads, but yeah, I have now read Mansfield Park, but I didn't read it during the summer, so I guess it doesn't count. But anyway, we have July, which is kind of like a woody kind of theme with this washi tape that I love. My work commute is like ages, and so I started listening to audiobooks, and this is where like my reading number just like skyrockets. And I ended up making like a whole spread for ebooks and audiobook spread. I think my coworker also gave me his Kindle at this time. He gave me his old Kindle. Maybe this was a bit later actually, I can't remember. It might have been another month later, but he gave me his old Kindle, and so I also would check out like ebooks from the library. And yeah, I ended up having like the perfect amount of space. These were all the audiobooks and ebooks that I read from the library, or I'm doing like the 99-cent trial of Kindle Unlimited right now. I have like a month and a half left of it, and so I have some of those in there, but yeah, I have the perfect amount. I was very proud of that when I put the last book there for the year. And then we have my Fourth Wing spread. I did a whole spread for this because I just was shocked that I really enjoyed it. I thought it was going to be really bad, but I had a lot of fun with it. Then I have my series tracker. This is a lot of fun. I just put squares to indicate like how many books there are in the series, and then I will highlight what I've finished and what I haven't. Then we have the Count of Monte Cristo spread. This was a labor of love, and at some point I just decided to make like a meter to like track my reading to kind of make it a bit more like fun and like more like a goal, you know. It felt never ending, so this kind of helped. Then we have August. I read so much in August. Some good books, some bad books. I found one of my favorite new series, which is the Prophecy of the Forgotten Fae trilogy. Please read it. It's so good. It's very like slow fantasy, but I just love it. And then we have another journaling page. I did a lot of mushrooms for this page. I really love how this turned out. I also have a third page of it. I was just very talkative on this day. And then I decided to do a little summer break reading. I got like 2 weeks off from work, and so this was what I read on summer break. And then this is where I have the spread of the book that I really didn't like, The Honey, which I'm so sad. I DNF'd it, but later in December I ended up picking it back up and finishing it because I got the audiobook, but I DNF'd the physical book. I couldn't do it. I really didn't like it. I was so sad, and so I just had to talk about it. And then this is where I really like vamped up my seasonal spreads. I love how this fall spread turned out, and I have a lot of books on here, and I did not read a lot of these. I think I read I read two but it is what it is. Okay, so then we get into September again. Another good reading month. I just was really popping off with the audiobooks at this point, so I just had so much reading and like books finished, and this is where I hit my Goodreads goal. I surpassed it, so I was very happy about that. More journaling with some cute stickers, and then I ended up having to make another spread of library book spread, so I think I added Serpent in the Wings of Night, which was that it? No, I think that was Kindle Unlimited, so that doesn't belong here, but I think everything else was the library. And then again, I had to add another book spread, so we filled that up. And then again, two more book related spreads. Prophecy of the Forgotten Fae, I just absolutely loved this series. And then Voyage of the Basilisk, which I think is one of my favorite of the Lady Trent series. And then I was so happy that I finished my Goodreads goal, so I did a whole spread of that. And then I was gonna do this like spread of like my favorite booktubers, but I just never got around to doing it. But if you're curious, I love Emma from Emmy Reads. Katie is Reading is like probably my all-time favorite YouTuber, like booktuber specifically. I also love Catherine Karras. I really like Alexa Ray, and then also Emmy Rossum. Is it Rossum? R-O-S-A-M. I love her as well. She's also one of my new favorite booktubers, so those are kind of like the 5 people that I watch like religiously. Maybe not Alexa Ray as much anymore, but definitely Emma, Katie, Catherine, also Katie, and then Emmy Rossum. I love. Then I have my summer wrap-up spread. I just wanted to like fill up some pages. I did another book bingo because I just think they're a lot of fun, and this time I was able to get it horizontally. And then I have my October spread. This was a lot of fun because I had like a lot of like spooky stickers, and so this was just a lot of fun. October wasn't like the best reading month though. I think that was probably like one of the worst reading months, which kind of sucks because October is my birthday, but it's whatever. I also have my bookish fall bucket list, which this is a lot of fun. I have like read a book about coffee or tea, read a cozy mystery, read a book with pumpkin in the title. I'm trying to think what that was. Oh, Pumpkin Spice and Poltergeist, I think. I also have my Hailey's 24 books for turning 2024. No, turning 24. I made a list of like books that I wanted to get for my birthday. I bought 24 books from half priced for my birthday. That was just like the one thing that I wanted to do for my birthday. So I made a spread to kind of plan out what books I was interested in getting. And then I made another spread to do my little haul that I did. So very happy. And then also I did a little spread to talk about my book buying. So then we have November, which again, another pretty good reading month. I did sort of like a tea theme, which was a lot of fun. And then I kind of updated my physical TBR since I had bought those new books. And to be honest, I really hadn't bought a lot compared to like the previous like physical TBR. If we go back to look at it, if I can find it. Yeah, so I had like 32 books here versus like 44 or like 45, and so I had like decluttered some and I had read some, so I really only had taken in like 10 books into my collection, which I felt like was pretty good. But obviously I didn't make much progress because at this point there were only like 2 months left in the year, but that's fine. So then we have like my favorite read of the year, which was The Exceptions. I was reading this on Kindle at first before buying the physical book because I really wanted it, and I was like highlighting, you know, my favorite quotes in the book, and so I just decided to write them all out so that I could have them here. I just really loved how this spread turned out. I think this washi tape is really pretty, and I tried to do like the Erlenmeyer flask and like the test tube. So then I did a currently reading spread just because I felt like journaling a bit more about what I was currently reading, and then also a bit about what I was planning to read next. Again, more book reviews, In the Labyrinth of Drakes and a Novel Love Story. And then I did my fall wrap up, and I kind of organized this one into physical, audio, and ebook, and also whether it was a library book or my physical TBR, plus my favorites of the season. And then I kind of wrote on the last day of fall about my fall reading. So then we get into my winter TBR, and this kind of goes into like January and February, so only in this notebook does it cover December. I have read Emily's Map of the Otherlands, actually, spoiler alert, so that's great. And I still have 2 months to read some of these other ones. Who knows if I'll get to them, maybe I will, maybe I won't. And then I also have a bookish winter bucket list, so like read a book set in winter, read a book with snowflakes on the cover, read a green and red book, read a book set during Christmas, take a photo of a book with snow, which is not going to happen. I live in Texas, so this was kind of like a mishmash of like a bookish washi tape and like Christmassy stickers and stuff. But yeah, I read so much in December because I finished my master's and then I was on break, and so I had a little overflow section, so yeah, I just read a lot. And I ended up hitting 60 books for the year, which is insane considering my goal was 35. So I read almost double that, which is kind of cool. Okay, and then I have another bookish spread. I felt like I was in a bit of a slump at the beginning of December, and then by the middle of December I felt like I was back on track. I also was able to print book covers. My mom let me use her printer that she got, so that was a lot of fun. I also looked at my 2024 TBR and looked at what I read versus what I hadn't read, so 13 out of 24 books, which I feel like is pretty good. I did the end of the year book tag, which really wasn't, I don't know, I don't think I found a good one. Yeah, anyway, so kind of just a spread. But then we have my monthly faves. I was really excited about printing the book covers, so I wanted to do like my favorite book of each month. Again, this is like subjective. This, I could totally pick like another book. These are based on vibes, and so these took quite some time, so I kind of just did 4 a day over break and got it done in 3 days. And I did a little Dutch door kind of spread, so that was just a lot of fun. And then I did a spread for the best book of 2024, which was again The Exceptions. This time I like wrote about it and, you know, made this little cute spread. I really love how this turned out. It's very pretty. And I also did a little classics book club kind of spread, just talking a bit more about my feelings about the books as opposed to just like having the, you know, beginning spreads like this. I kind of wanted to get more into it. Again, I could print the book cover, so that made me really excited. And then last but not least, we have my 2024 books wrapped. I loved how this turned out. This is how my 2023 one turned out, and I just had like a lot of fun doing this, and so I really wanted to do it again. And this time I made it another Dutch door because I kind of wanted to journal, and I had like a couple extra stuff that I wanted to talk about. So I did my reading goal, which was 35, and my books read, which was 60. I also had a lot of best reads. Really, I loved so much of what I read, so that's not really saying much. Also my worst reads, which there were a few. I also did my first book and my last book of the year, how many pages I read. I get a lot of this info from Storygraph, shortest book and longest book, and then my most read authors, completed series that I finished, days read. So out of the 365 days, I read for 260 days of those, which is so cool. That's 71% of 2024. And then I also did my format, so I read 13 physical books off of my like physical books that I owned, 26 physical library books, 2 library ebooks, 16 library audiobooks, so quite a lot of library books, and then 3 Kindle Unlimited books because I currently have the 99-cent trial, so I've been reading a few of them. And yeah, and then I journaled about the year, and that's it. I technically have like a few pages left, but I can't do anything about that. I really loved how this turned out. I just love reading journaling, and I'm just so happy that I have been able to do this. I think it's so fun to like look back at it and see what I've read and what I was thinking in the moment. And like I love tracking. If you watched my 2025 like reading journal setup, you know that I've like set up a bunch of trackers because I just think this is so fun. So yeah, that is my reading journal for 2024. Okay, so that is my 2024 reading journal flip through. I hope you guys enjoyed. I had so much fun in this journal. It has taken me 2 years and 2 months to fill up, and it's finally finished. So we are moving on to new things. If y'all have seen my 2025 setup, I set up my 2025 journal, and definitely make sure to go check that out if you're interested to see what I did. I really love how the setup pages turned out. I had a lot of fun doing them, and I just can't wait to use this journal this year. I think that's about it. So if you liked the video, definitely make sure to subscribe. I want to do a lot more journaling content on this channel. I think I'd like to do kind of like monthly like TBR videos, and then like a bullet journal, a reading journal setup. So let me know if y'all are interested in that, and if you are, definitely make sure to subscribe. My goal this year is to upload once a week. I feel like I've been decently consistent, but there have been days where I've missed it, so my plan is to be more consistent this year and really grow my channel. And yeah, so if you are interested in helping me out and you think you might like my content, definitely do subscribe. And with that, I think that's about it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!